Hello, everyone, and welcome to day number 6 in reading Proverbs. Because Grandma said that if you read a proverb a day, that will cover all the days in the month. Today, I have a very special guest. I have my big sister, Sarbeth Fleming. She is very nice to be able to do this with me because I told her this morning, not even this morning, a couple hours ago, asked her to do it. Uh, I get right to the thing for her. Just one second. So today we are diving into Proverbs Chapter 6 with my oldest sister, Sarbeth, a powerful leader, a devoted mother, and new vice president at a college in Ohio. Proverbs 6 speaks about discipline, responsibility, wise decision making, avoiding the trap that can pull you off your purpose. It reminds us to work like the ant, protect our energy, and use wisdom in everything we commit to. Sarbeth shares her perspective on this chapter through the lens of motherhood, leadership, and personal growth. With a daughter who's thriving in high school and after receiving multiple college offers and a new season in her own career, she brings a fresh and inspiring perspective on how wisdom guides both family and the future. Thank you very much, Steph.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
So, right now, I'm going to go ahead and read Proverbs chapter 6.
Okay.
Okay. My son, if you have put up security for your neighbor, if you have struck hands in the pledge with a stranger, if you have been trapped by the words of your lips, ensnared by the words of your mouth, then do this, my son, to free yourself, for you have fallen into your neighbor's hands. Go humble yourself and press your plea with your neighbor. Allow no sleep to your eyes or slumber to your eyelids. Free yourself like a gazelle from the hands of the hunter, like a bird from the snare of the fowler. Walk in the manner of an ant. O slacker, observe its ways and become wise. Without a commander, without an overseer or ruler. It prepares its provisions in summer. It gathers its food at harvest. How long will you lie there, O slacker? When will you get up from your sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest? And poverty will come upon you like a robber, and need like a bandit. A worthless person, a wicked man, walks with a perverse mouth, winking his eyes, speaking with his feet, and pointing with his fingers. With deceit in his heart, he devises evil. He continually sows discord. Therefore, calamity will come upon you suddenly. In an instant, he will be shattered beyond recovery. There are 16 that the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that run swiftly to evil, a false witness who gives false testimony, a one who stirs up discord among brothers. My son, keep your father's commandments, and do not forsake your mother's teachings. Bind them always upon your heart, tie them around your neck. When you walk, they will guide you. When you lie down, they will watch over you. When you awake, they will speak to you. For this commandment is a lamp, this teaching is a light, and the reproofs of discipline are the ways to life, to keep you from the evil woman, from the smooth tongue of the adulteress. Do not lust in the heart for her beauty, or let her captivate you with her eyes. For the levy of the prostitute is poverty, and the adulteress preys upon your very life. Can a man embrace fire and his clothes not be burned? Can a man walk on hot coals without scorching his feet? So is he who sleeps with another man's wife. No one who touches her will go unpunished. Men do not despise the thief if he steals to satisfy his hunger. Yet, if caught, he must pay sevenfold. He must give up all the wealth of his house. He who commits to adultery lacks judgment. Whoever does so destroys himself. Wounds and dishonor will befall him, and his reproach will never be wiped away. For jealousy enrages a husband, and he will show no mercy in the day of vengeance. He will not be appeased by any ransom or persuaded by any lavish gifts. And that ends the reading.
Amen. Yeah.
Yep. So what are your basic thoughts, just simple thoughts on that reading?
So, so I read Proverbs as well every morning, same grandma, so same teachings, right? One thing I want to stop and say is when I read it, and I have a Bible that I love, and this is the Bible that I read and take notes in. But when I read Proverbs 6, I was like, this isn't speaking to me. And so one thing that grandma always says is find a version that speaks to you, right? Right. And in today's time, you don't have to go out and buy multiple books. I have my New Revised King James Version I love, but for that chapter, I pulled up my Bible app and read the Common English Version. Because then I was like, okay, this is making it really plain. So what I got from Proverbs 6, there's really 4 short parables or 4 short lessons in that one chapter. The first one is, and I'll just break them down and we can go in it. The first lesson that I think Proverbs is telling you is, the first part of it is, let your yes be your yes and your no be your no, right? And that's how it starts. Like if you make a pledge to your neighbor, in the Common English Version, it says, I'm doing this off of memory from this morning. I can pull it up. But if you make a promise of a loan to your neighbor, right? If you shake hands in agreement and you're the one who bound yourself by your words, so nobody else made you do it. If you said, yes, I'm going to let you borrow $10,000, then you put yourself in that predicament. The lesson goes on to say, but like if you need to remove yourself from that agreement, sometimes we say we're going to do something. Yeah, I'm going to pick them up from school, or I'm going to do this or that. And life changes. Yes, I'm going to let you borrow $10,000. I didn't know my car was going to break down. So now I don't have that $10,000. It goes on to say, before you go to sleep, you shouldn't be able to rest until you solidify that situation, right? So if Jerome, if I say I'm going to let you borrow $10,000, but then my car breaks down tomorrow, it shouldn't take me 5 weeks to come back and tell you, oh, by the way, I ain't got that $10,000. The minute I know that I can't follow through with my word, I need to let you know that. And so that's one lesson in the beginning. Another lesson it tells you is basically, and I love this, is if you don't work, you don't eat. You don't need people to tell you to get up and stop being lazy. And that's the part with the ants, right? It talks about, Common English Version talks about how if you look at ants working, there's not a commander standing there. It's not a chief telling them what to do. They know they need to stock up food to eat, so everybody's going to work. If you know you need something, you don't need to, if you know you're thirsty and there's water over there for free, you shouldn't have somebody that have to tell you to go walk over there, right? So use common sense to prepare for your own life. That's the second lesson. The third lesson is something I hold dear. And this goes with reading the Bible, knowing your word, is having it in your heart. It talks about having the words bound like a tie around your neck. You shouldn't have to wait till a circumstance happens to then say, oh, what does the Bible say about it? If you read the Bible, you study the Bible, you sing gospel songs, you know all of this, it becomes part of who you are. So then when that pressure comes, that's what comes out. And then the last lesson is stay away from temptation, because you can't tell people how to act. Right? You can't determine how somebody's going to react to a situation you put them in. Stay away from temptation. If you know you are a recovering alcoholic, I'm not saying you don't need to go to the party, but you might need to go to the party and automatically get a glass of ginger ale. Automatically get something so that it's in your hand that you're not tempted. And so it talks about temptation, and it talks about how if you fall to temptation, you can't tell people how to react. And that's where it's talking about, like, if you sleep with another person, you sleep with another person's wife, you can't tell them the husband how to react. That's literal, but also if I cheat you, I can't tell you how to react. If I steal from you, I can't tell you, Jerome, oh, but I'm your sister, don't press charges, right? It's like my actions are my actions. I have to deal with the consequences of my actions, and I can't tell you what those consequences are if I'm doing something to you. You tell you to get up and stop being. So that's what the whole chapter 6 says to me.
Cool. All right, I do have a couple questions just curated for you. Question number 1.
Yes.
What's a habit or principle that helps you stay organized and responsible?
Ooh. For me, it truly is letting my yes be my yes and my no be my no, and having a calendar. Everybody, I'm like, hey, I will send people stuff 6 months in advance. You need to. I just asked.
Literally. Yep.
Asked my niece, right? Your daughter. I just asked, when is your graduation? I need to put it on my calendar now. So, and that's because that's my yes being my yes. So now that date is on my calendar, I will be there. If someone else comes to me and say, hey, can you do this? Nope, it's already on my calendar. Right? And my daughter, Naomi, we have a joint calendar. If it's not on the calendar, don't bring it up to me. I have stuff on my calendar as late as August of 2026. So that's something that helps me make my yes be my yes, because I put it on my calendar. If I'm saying I'm doing it, period. If graduation, she gave the dates on the calendar. If somebody's like, hey, here's a free cruise you can go to. Nope, I've already said my yes over here. And so it's abiding by that yes.
Okay. Next question I have for you is this chapter tells us to look at the ant for discipline and hard work. What motivates your work ethic? And it's like the double. What motivates your work ethic, and how have discipline and consistency help you grow in your career?
Oh, that's a great question. How has work motivate? How has
consistency and work ethic?
Consistency is consistency is a habit, right? Like if you are consistent with something, people know that they can count on you for it if you're consistent. And so that's all I ask, like be consistent. So one thing that I do every morning before I start my day, I get up, I read my Bible, I work out. And that's a consistent habit that I have. And so that consistency helps you not be shocked or confused. I go into my office, my new office, I park in the same exact spot. I do a little OCD with it, but I park in the exact same spot. I walk in the exact same way. I walk and I say hello to the people. I do my little walk through and I go into my office. Why is that consistency important? It might seem like craziness, but I'm up here working, right? Like most of my family's in the South. I'm about 400 or 500 miles away. That consistency also helps my coworkers, right? They're like, hey, we haven't seen Sarbeth. Go check. Where's her car? She's not here. She didn't walk through. They have access to my calendar. On her calendar, it shows she's supposed to be in work today, right? And so then I know they will come looking for me. So that consistency helps people know where you are, help people to help you if you are out of whack. It's like, hey, she's late today. What's happening? Is there something we can help you with? So that also motivation is, I think sometimes people lean too hard on the word motivation versus what do I want to accomplish and how do I get there? The ants.
Hmm.
The ants to store food. I'm sure those ants don't want to go pick up food and keep carrying it up this little hill and all what they got to do, but it's looking at the end result, right? If they want to eat in the winter when there's no food available, they need to do what they need to do now. So, what is my motivation is I know that in 7 months, I'll take it back to this year. I knew for my 50th birthday, here's the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to go to Hawaii. I wanted to do X, Y, and Z. I started planning for that a year and a half earlier, right?
Hmm.
So the motivation was having a 50th celebration, but my consistency was saving money, not doing as much, right? Like storing away, like the little ants, storing away now so that when that moment comes, I'm not stressed. So it's about thinking ahead and not always thinking, oh, well, I want a steak dinner today. Well, you might want a steak dinner today, but if you go and just have a hamburger, will saving that money help you for what you're planning long term? Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So, like to piggyback off that, consistency is something I talk about all the time because with Tanya's in the website, I say I don't ever want to be perfect because the moment I become perfect in anything, I give it up because I
Right.
can always find something to I can get better. So I always say you have to define what success means to you
Absolutely.
because when you look at like the ant success is having food for the winter.
Right.
For my success is make sure Corey and Kelly has a father that's present for them. So 20 years from now, they're not looking at some guy like, oh, he didn't hit me today, so that's good enough for me.
Right.
Success for LeBron James might be play for 2 more years. So I tell people all the time, you have to define what your level of success is, then apply it to your situation. Because if you just walk in every situation where like that's good enough for you, so it's good enough for me, you're not really taking what God really put in your heart and listening to what God wants for you. Because everybody's path is different.
That's
So like the ant is the ant, Sarbeth is Sarbeth, Jerome is Jerome. Everybody's their own individual. So that's what I always take from everything. So anytime I talk to people, I'll be like, "Wow, you're doing such great work." Like I'm not nowhere close where I want to be, but when you sit back and look at when people look at me like, "Oh, you're doing this, you're doing this," that's cool, but that's not where I want to be because I'm still working towards what I want. And I think a
right.
lot of times people get caught up in when people look at them and say, "Oh, wow, you're doing great," and they think they're doing great, but they don't understand their individual mission in life is their own individual mission.
Right.
Yep.
And it's funny you talk about success because two quick things. One, I used to be a teacher and help students get into college. That was one of the first questions I asked. How do you define success in this
Mm-hmm.
process? Because your success might be, Miss Fleming, I'm applying to 20, and if I get one, that's a win. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, one student, and I could say his name, I love him to death. I said, what is a successful senior year for you? Miss Fleming, I've never made an A in a core class. I just want one A. I said that we can do it. So I looked at the schedule and I said, okay, I think this class you can make an A in it. And that was, he made one A out of his entire high school career. I mean, he was a phenomenal athlete. So all the physical stuff, he made an A. But he was like, I want an A in an academic class.
Mm.
Bam. And then the other thing about success and having your own path, one of my dear nephew, so one of my nephews, Julian, I was telling him, hey, my goal was to run a mile under 12 minutes. He busted out laughing because I think he runs 3 miles in 12 minutes. I ran a mile in 11 minutes and 59 seconds. I was ecstatic. My knee was swollen for about 4 months, but hey, that was my success, right?
Yeah.
Getting that mile under 12 minutes. I ain't gonna do it again. I just wanted to do that before I turned 50. I did. And that was my success, right?
And another thing for success, because like the movies, right? When I made my first movie, I just wanted to have one goal. Before Cora was born, I wanted to have an IMDb credit as a director.
Right.
I didn't have any movie making experience. I didn't have any money. I used credits from work in order to buy the camera. to make the movie. I wrote it in a weekend. I filmed it in a weekend, and less than 3 months later, I had a credit on IMDb with a great blue red carpet rollout at a restaurant of the connections that I made. So even though my only level of success of the ant gathering something for the winner, it was really just like I just wanted to have Jerome Fleming on IMDb with a movie credit. But what ended up happening, I got lifelong contacts now in the movie industry. People like Jerome, next you ready for something, let me know. Let me know. So yeah, that's that just goes to show like sometimes what God has planned for you is greater than you could ever expect for yourself.
Absolutely.
So the next question I have for you is I'm using different things in order to help me come up with it. It's a lot of good questions, especially for you. Is there my lovely, lovely niece? She is about to do some big things in her life, right? What message would you?
My daughter. I was like, which niece?
Okay, yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Your daughter. I ain't gonna say that.
I'm thinking your kids. Okay, my kid. Okay, got it.
So, your kid is about to do some big things.
Yes.
How do you balance your leadership role at work with being a mother that's so present every day like you are?
That is an amazing question. And I actually did a whole presentation about this, right? And anybody I've worked for or with, you cannot expect people to respect your boundaries if you never clearly articulate what your boundaries are.
Message.
Prime example. When I interviewed for this position, first interview, I said, let me put this on the card right here. First thing, before you even say how you doing,
things.
I have a child that I will not miss a single senior activity that she's doing. I don't care if she's walking across the stage for 5 minutes and we got the board of trustees. I won't be there. I will be at the little 5-minute walk across the stage. The job before this, we had to do an assignment in the afternoons every so often where we couldn't leave until 4:45. She had dance practice or theater. She had dance and she switched to theater. Certain days, I have to leave at 4:00 because I need to be there to get her to where she needs to be. If that is an issue, this job here, I will be at her homecoming. I will be at her prom. I just booked the airline ticket because there's a breakfast for senior parents on their 100th day of senior high school, 100th day of class.
That's a really random.
Exactly. And where will I be? I won't be here at work. I'll be there. And so that's the thing. My boundaries, I said that in day one, first meeting, first interview. Because honestly, if that's an issue, I'm good with that because I have told you what my priorities are. There's no assumptions. There's no questions. My president and vice president, they say, oh, now, Sarbeth, will you be here? I'm like, let me look. Going back to point one, let me look at my calendar. Okay, I'll be there. It's not a nope. I'm free. I can be there here. And so that's the thing of I know what my priority is. I know my priority is a gift that God gave me, which is my daughter, to raise her and to be there for her. And so you can get fired tomorrow from a job, right? You can get fired tomorrow when you think you've done the best job that you've ever done in your life. But your child is your child. And so you can't go back in 20 years and say, baby, I'm sorry I missed your prom because I had this work function. Don't nobody care that you were at that work function. Your child. And so the one thing I remember at a job before I really internalized that, I got real sick. I started losing my hair because I was trying to give 100% on both sides, and you can't do that. And I got sick, and I took about 6 weeks off. And Daddy said to me, they will run your obituary. No, they will run the opening for your job before we can write your obituary.
Mm-hmm. Mama said
And
something
I
very
said,
similar to me one time.
it's all right. And so yeah, now my whole office, I gave everybody access to my calendar because again, my priorities, my boundaries are open. From the admin to president can see when I'm not going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a calendar block. And I will put on there going to this for my daughter. They know that's not even a negotiable, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they see on there dinner with friends, they might say, well, Sarbeth, this is really important. And then that gives me the opportunity to decide which one I'm doing. But from day one, anything from my child is negotiable. And it's making it clear. I don't sneak out the office when I'm trying to go to the airport to go see my
Bye.
daughter. I say bye. They're like, you going to? I sure am. I'll see you in 4 days. Email me, text me. I'm still accessible, but I won't be here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the yeah.
Yeah, because like I had
Going to the
one incident,
beginning.
like not one incident, but
Right.
I remember it was 2018 when Cora was born.
Mhm.
This all happened in 1 week, and Kate died.
Oh,
I was taking Daddy to and from chemotherapy treatments up in Raleigh.
right.
Cora
Yep.
was sick.
Yep.
While I was doing all this stuff, I was at work, working myself because I think I lost maybe 15 pounds during that time. It wasn't a food poisoning; it was just stress. And as I was sitting there working, like I was still doing the work for the company I was working for, and I got back to the office the next day. I was sad because it was a lot going on.
Right.
And my boss coming to the office and she was like, Jerome, your productivity over the last couple of weeks has been slipping. We're gonna put you on the action plan. I was like, okay, I'll save you all the trouble. I quit. On the spot, I was like, I quit, man, whatever. If because if that's what you think of the work that I've been going through, what I've been going through, and plus I didn't slack at work and nothing like that. It was just that they wanted me there more, and I was working remotely, and I quit on the spot. Then my boss called my wife, and then they talked me into coming back for a little bit longer. But I was like, okay, on this date, 3 months from today, I'm out of here. And I
Mhm.
made the demand. I was like, I'm hiring the person that's going to replace me. I am going to set some things up so I know whoever comes into position don't have to deal with the same stuff that I just deal with. But it's kind of like you said, is they don't care because at the end of the day, my priorities, like if I go back in time, oh, I should have been up in Richmond playing Kate, my godmom. If I could go back in time, oh, I would have been like, I'm gonna take some personal time off to make sure I was there, like there with Daddy while he was doing this stuff. Make sure that he was
Right.
eating the food he was eating. Make sure I was there with Cora in the hospital when she was getting those like as RSV or something like that
Right.
treatments. If I go back to time, that's what I would have done, but I can't go back to time, and now that's what it is.
Right.
So all that being said is at the end of the day, you got to put like if I would have started the job off saying like, hey, this is what's first, this is what's second, this was third,
Mhm.
it'd have been a whole lot different. But now in my life, I'm like, yo, every day I pick Cora from school. I take Kelly to school every single morning. I make coffee for Tanya every single morning. Those are my
Mhm.
non-negotiables. I'm gonna be in bed by 10:16 because that's what the aura ring tells me to do.
Right.
And anything outside of that, if you can't meet it, I'm cool.
Right. And I think that goes back to the first part of the first verse. Let your yes be your yes and your no be your no.
Mm-hmm.
And then number chapter, I mean verse 3, 4, if you need to change that, then you need to articulate it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so I think that's the piece of going to your supervisor and saying, hey, I know I said I was going to be here, blah, blah, blah. Let me explain to you what's changed.
Let me
And then
update you
that
real quick.
gives, yeah, it gives you, but it, again, you have to be okay to know. It's something I learned in law school called BATNA, best alternative to no agreement. If I go in and tell my supervisor, hey, this has changed and this is what I'm going to have to do now, I have to be okay if the supervisor says that ain't gonna work for us. And so now we're at an impasse, and they say, okay, we're gonna have to let you go. No hard feelings,
Yeah.
because here's where we are. There's no place for an agreement. And so that goes to verse 3 of no slumber until you do. Don't be trying to sneak out the door. If your plans have changed from what you originally agreed on, you need to go and speak to that person who you made that agreement with. If your plans have changed with your job, you signed an agreement. I'm going to be here from this time to this time. And if something has changed, then you need to go let your supervisor know. You need to, and again, it might be, we can't accommodate that. And you'd be like, okay, well, thank you so much. I had a supervisor, so my last supervisor, who, it was something new. Saw him the other day, hugged him, love him. He's so nice. And he said, I need you to do this. Okay, this is new, right? This is new. I said, no, I'm not going to be able to do that, because that would have interfered with my priority of Naomi.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can't. He was like, wait, you're telling me no? I said, absolutely. I'm not adding that new thing to my plate, but let's talk about it. There are things you can do. You can put me on a performance improvement plan. You can fire me. You can report me to HR for insubordination, or you can give this project to someone else. Whatever you decide, I'm okay with it, because I've told you no, I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It shocked him. He called the meeting off right at that moment, but he had to,
Take a second.
He was like, wait, hold on, what? And we reassigned that task to somebody else. I was like, there are options, and I'm okay with whatever option you choose, but my priority is always my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So all these other options are below what my top priority is.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So next, I only got like 2 more questions for you.
Sure.
This because like what I did, I generated like 20 questions,
Okay.
But these are some really good questions.
Okay.
Okay, what's a sign young people should look for when to know something is not good for them?
That's a great question, and that's the last part of the chapter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the smooth tongue, and talking about the crooked, the basically smooth talkers.
Yeah, girl. Yeah.
The charlatans, as Princess in the Bride says, right? One thing, Grandma always said, you know right from wrong. So that's on you. But that goes back to when it talks about having the words that your wife or mother bound around your neck. You might not know right from wrong if you always living in the wrong. So you got to build your own foundation of what do I personally perceive as right from wrong. And so once I know in my core, how do I stay away from things that aren't good for me? Think about it. If your very best friend, think about the person you love most in this world, said to you they were going to do whatever you were considering, what would you say to them? And then take it up 5 levels, because you should love yourself more than anybody else. Right? You can't, even Tanya, your wife, you can't love her if you don't love yourself, because you're not bringing 100%. So I always think, for Naomi, if somebody came to Naomi with this and she asked me, I'm like, girl, that's crazy. Don't do that. So why am I considering doing that for myself? Right. And so think about, sometimes you got to remove yourself from the situation. And again, when I was talking about planning for my 50th, how does this action work into the life plan that I have? And if it's not consistent with the life plan that I have for myself, why would I do that? Right? I am a good one that if friends are like, everybody who's my friend know, they're like, Sarbeth, let's go and do this and go out to eat. Girl, I got to wake up early in the morning. Well, no. I'll see y'all later. I'm okay. But I know the plan that I have for myself. that God gave to me. I can't do everything. Sometimes you gotta say no and be okay with it.
Yeah, like I tell people all the time, no is a complete sentence.
Oh yes. And so that's the thing of how does this action fit into my lifelong plan? And if I don't see any connection, will this action cause harm? If it's a neutral action, feel free to do it if you want to or not. But if it could cause harm to your overall plan, then don't do it. Don't do it. And because you can't blame nobody but yourself. And that's what this part say right here. Temptation. You can't blame nobody else.
Yeah, because this is a saying that I say all the time now, and it was at revival at Uncle Jerry's church years ago. It was Lance Watson up in Virginia. He was preaching a sermon, and the sermon was this: sin is an acronym for self-inflicted nonsense.
Right.
And
Sorry. Keep going.
No, but like self-inflicted nonsense. So anytime that people in a bad situation, because I never forget, I had a homeboy. I'm not going to say his name because he probably watched it now. But I remember freshman year in college, I used to drive him to his friend's house. And I used to sit in the car where he go in and talk to the young lady. And we were sitting there one time and I heard pop, 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 pop. Her dad was on. Came out the house to shoot. He jumped in the car. We drove off, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I don't know what happened. I was like, this is on you. That nonsense that this was before I heard this sermon, but now look back. He was saying it because that was self-inflicted nonsense, stupidity that was inflicted by yourself. So, like, when people find themselves in bad situations, like, oh, I don't know how this happened or what's going on, you did it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because
absolutely.
I remember Grandma said this one time, and I remember me and the pastor at a church, we kept talking about it because she would not agree with it. Grandma said this one time. She was like, God never says no. If you truly want something to desire your heart, he's going to give you exactly what you want. Sometimes that giving of it might put you in a very bad situation, but you're going to come out on the other side and hopefully you understand what you went through is not what you truly want. So when you pray, you got to be specific in your prayer for exactly what you want, because if you don't be specific in your prayer, you're going to find yourself in a situation that you want. Oh, I want to meet the person in my dreams. Okay, you meet the person in your dreams. They married to somebody else. Oh, you met them. Oh, I want the job that gives me everything I want. You got your health care, the money, but they don't respect your time or your life. You got to be so that's one thing grandma told me then. You have to be specific in your prayers, because if you don't be specific, you're going to accept some things in your life that's not really for you.
Right. Oh. Yes.
Okay, and come on, Cora. your friend came to visit. So she will read you the last question, okay?
Okay. All right. I'm focused.
Which one?
All right.
Hey, Cora.
Auntie Sarbeth said, hey, Cora.
So silly.
Hi, Auntie Sarbeth.
Hey, Cora. Hey.
So, which, either this one or this one, you pick one. 19 or 20. You read it.
Do I say the number?
No, just the word.
What wisdom from this chapter would you like your daughter to carry in adulthood?
Oh, that's a great question. Muscles strong.
She wants you to see her muscles.
What would I want?
Be quiet. Be quiet.
Baby's here.
I would honestly, there's two things that I would want. Oh, shucks, there's three. One, the beginning. Let your yes be your yes and your no be your no. And if you have to change, you need to let the person know as soon as possible. Bye, Cora. Because that's part of everything. That's the consistency. That's everything. People will be able to respect and depend on you if they know your yes is your yes and your no is your no. I think that's why it started there. The second part is um, buying the teachings around your heart. Nay and I, even though I'm here, we look at we Zoom into church every Sunday together. The teachings that you have when you're younger are the things that come out. I know I saw a huge car accident, and they were right in front of me, and the first thing that came out was Jesus, right? Because that was and that was my call to basically be like, protect these people, because that was about to be bad, and thankfully it wasn't. So, what do you have? Who are you in your core? And hopefully, it's the word. And then the last thing is, and she knows I tell her this all the time in this chapter, talks about it. You can't dictate how someone responds to your actions, positively or negatively, right? You cannot tell someone how they're supposed to act. Prime example, everybody was all about and my forever first lady, Michelle Obama, when she was like, when they go high, we go low. Nah, some people I mean, when they go low, we go high. Yeah, that's it. When they go low, we go high. Nah, some people, when they go low, other people gonna get all the way down.
You got to uppercut sometimes. I mean, uppercut is a move. Yeah, uppercut somebody.
And hang out with Lucifer. You can't dictate on how people are going to respond to who you are. And that can be any type of way. So your best bet is always to be true to yourself. Because as long as you're true to yourself, if they, no matter how they respond, the core thing is you were true to yourself. So if I had to pick one of those, let your yes be your yes and your no be your no.
Yeah. And if I had to pick one based off that, even though it wasn't directly like correlated, it really, for me, I pull your definition of success is your definition of success.
Absolutely.
Be like the ant, but you ain't no ant.
Right.
So do what
and
you
I
need
tell
to do.
Naomi all the time, do your best. Like you do whatever your best is.
Yo, absolutely.
I'm excited. Your best may not be somebody down the street best. It might not be your best friend's best. Everybody has to operate in the gifts that God gave them. Be the best that you were designed to be. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, that ends the question for Grandma's 106-year-old birthday promise that I made to her. So thank you for participating. And thank you. You said what?
Yeah.
Cool. I might have to double up on some people because Mom and Daddy get a list of people for me to call. But yeah. But yeah, but thank you very much and have a great day. And I think you can run 11-minute mile.
Oh no, I already did that. 11:59. That's no.
I know. Okay. Well, 10:59.
That's checked off. You can do it if that's your best. You do it. You be in that space.
I'm putting floor in the basement right now. I'm a carpenter right now, so being like Jesus.
Sounds great. Okay.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right.